Hello, my name is Bob Doman. I'm the founder and director of the National Association for Child Development. This video is one of a series we're doing relative to children with Down syndrome. And specifically what I want to talk about in this video is social skills and social development. This is an area that's generally a pretty big concern for a lot of parents. And often, unfortunately, the perception is the need is to throw the children into social environments so they can learn how to function socially. This is kind of a snapshot, if you will, of most every approach to children with Down syndrome, which is, you have a target and you work at that target in isolation of perceiving the child as who the child is, where the child is, and where their various pieces are. Just like you can't take a 2-year-old and throw them into a group of 5-year-olds and expect them to be able to function socially appropriately, or take a 5-year-old and throw them in with a bunch of teenagers and expect them to function well simply because you're putting them in the environment and they're going to learn how to function in the environment. With our children with Down syndrome, the same realities are in place, which is where the child functions is a reflection of where they are globally, where all their neurological pieces are. And in order to determine what is appropriate and when it is appropriate for children with Down syndrome, we need that global perspective. As I've mentioned in other videos, a big component of that is sequential processing. Sequential processing, which determines what the child can understand of what's being said, how they communicate, how globally mature they are, and how they think. Right? Those really are the components that produce the pieces that permit us to function socially. I've also mentioned in previous videos that the child's development who has Down syndrome is the same as a typical child's development. They go through the same steps. They have to put the same pieces together. And it's really important to understand that. If we are looking at that individual and we are looking at their pieces and putting their pieces together, we can create the system that works so that the child can, in fact, function socially. Right? It's a matter of neurological pieces. It's not a matter of throwing the child into the deep end of the pool and hope they can swim. If we have a child whose global neurological maturity is that of a 3-year-old, we cannot expect them to have the social skills and the abilities of a 6-year-old. It just isn't going to happen. So the answer is not simply putting them in the environment. It's a matter of putting them in the appropriate environment, which is determined by where that child functions. Another significant component of this is putting the child in the best environment available for their level of function. Now, what I mean by that is most special environments are generally not the best environments in which to teach a child how to function socially. So we want to look at where is the best environment commensurate with the child's level of function. And generally we're talking about appropriate, typical kids for the most part. So it's very important, if we want to develop those all-important social skills, that we look at it in terms of the entirety of the child, the complexity of the child, the global function of the child, and looking at all the neurodevelopmental pieces, language pieces, cognitive pieces, sequential processing pieces, to make this happen and be successful. Thanks.